Sairam everyone, thank you for being here. Before I start, I'd like to offer this presentation to Swami. May this presentation go as he wills. So, this is going to be a tutorial on how to edit with DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to start with a brief presentation on my background, the history of editing, as well as a few editing concepts. Then, we'll go into the software and begin the tutorial. So, just a little bit about my background in the industry. I've been freelancing as an assistant editor for several years now. Here's a couple projects that I've worked on. The first one here is Stax Soulsville, USA. It's about the rise and fall of a soul label in Memphis in the 60s and 70s. It went on to South by Southwest and was nominated for an Emmy. And there's also Super League, The War for Football, Alternate Endings, 6 New Ways to Die in America, and currently I'm actually producing my own documentary called Man with a Tan Jacket, which is about a man that was wrongfully incarcerated for 35 years in his quest to reconnect with his family. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I wanted to give you a little bit of history on the timeline of video editing. So when movies were first cut on film, editing was literally done on film. Like they would cut film strips with a scissor, and yeah, it was very, very time consuming. And as you can see here, he has a film strip on his neck, and yeah, that's how it was literally done, literally pasting film strips together. And later on, there was something called the Moviola that was developed to facilitate this. And it was like this machine that would do the film strip editing for you, basically, and you would like piece it together. And later on, like decades later, something called the flatbed was invented to make it even more seamless, and you could actually see what you were editing while you were doing it. And yeah, that was this was probably like the 60s and 70s. This was more common. And then in the 80s, tape decks became more common. Tape decks were more for like TV, and yeah, people would edit from tape to tape, and yeah, that was very common in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, in the 90s, something non-linear editing was developed. And actually, non-linear means you can go back and forth seamlessly through all the footage. And yeah, and as you can see here, he's editing with Avid Media Composer, which is one of the first editing softwares that's still used today in the industry. And so yeah, that's a very brief overview of the timeline of editing, and I wanted to just give you guys that. And yeah, let's move forwards. So what are the four most common nonlinear editing softwares? So I wanted to give you guys an overview of the software and the reasons why we're picking DaVinci Resolve today. So in the industry, the two main softwares that's used is Avid Media Composer and Adobe Premiere Pro. So let me start with Avid. So the main benefit for Avid is collaboration for large projects. Like all the production houses use Avid, like the majority, and they're used for feature films and documentaries. And yeah, for people that actually want to be in the industry, this is probably the one to learn. So yeah, that's really the main benefit for Avid. Now Premiere, the main benefit is it has professional features, like it's used in the industry, but it's also accessible to novices, people that want to do YouTube content, and people that want to do their own projects. So yeah, the Premiere is also a very good software that many people use in the industry and also for personal use. Now, the third software that's also common is Final Cut Pro X. For beginners and people that are just getting their feet wet, it's a very intuitive software because you can actually see everything as a reel rather than like marking in and out points by clicking on it, which I'll get into later. But yeah, it's only a one-time fee of $300, and it's for people that are just getting started. It's a very intuitive intuitive program for people to learn. And if anyone has experience with iMovie, Final Cut Pro would be like the next step for iMovie. It's like iMovie, but with all the professional features. So yeah, and that's only for Mac actually, but it is an option that's accessible. But now we're going to get into DaVinci Resolve. And DaVinci Resolve is specialty is for color grading. Like in the industry, color grading is how it's being used. But for regular users, it's fully capable as an editor as well. And that's why we're using it, because it's free. anyone can download it as long as you have the computer that accepts it. But anyone can download it and use most of the features. There is a studio version that costs $2.95, but for the vast majority of people, it's not necessary. So yeah, if you want to get your feet wet in editing, want to learn the process, I think DaVinci Resolve is a very great software to learn, and that's why we're going to be using that today. So moving forwards, I wanted to go over the different pages in DaVinci Resolve. So the first page is the media page, as that's where you're going to be importing all the footage and audio, and you can kind of get like an overview of all the footage that you're going to be working with. The cut page allows you to skim through all the source footage using the source tape function, and we're going to get into that shortly. And you can use the small blue bar if you want to make trims and piece clips together. And then once you have an assembly done, you can bring this to the edit page. Now, the edit tab, you have the traditional editing setup that you will see on most editing platforms. Like, this is the common setup for like all the software that I showed before, except for Final Cut Pro. Final Cut is a little bit different, but for Avid, for Premiere, and for DaVinci Resolve, they all have this basic setup where you have the source monitor on the left here and the program monitor on the right here. The source monitor is where we see all the footage that we brought in to the software. The program monitor is where we see the result of the cuts that we made. And one of the most important concepts of editing is 3 points make an edit. You mark in, mark out, and insert or overwrite. Those are the big 4 shortcuts that are important. And now what marking in does is it places a point of reference for that point in the footage, and marking out places an out point for that part of the footage. And it'll be more clear once I actually get into the software. But just to give you guys an overview, I wanted to explain that here. Now, the Deliver tab is where we can export the cut to the correct specifications that we need. And for our purposes, the YouTube 1080p setting is going to be sufficient. So if you can see here, you click Deliver, and then you go to Custom Export, and you click the settings that you want. Like I said, there's a YouTube setting here, which we can get into later. But yeah, you click Video, and click QuickTime, and yeah, you would add to the render queue, and then you would click Render All over here. And yeah, we will get into that later. So, I mean, another very important part of editing is keyboard customization. And so this is the page where you can customize all your keyboard settings, and I'm going to get into that later. And here are some of the most important keyboard shortcuts that are used across all editing platforms. These are my preferred places for these shortcuts. Mark in is Q, mark out is W, insert is D, overwrite is F, match frame is Shift plus F. And so what insert does is it inserts the clip you have in the source monitor into the timeline. Overwrite, it kind of replaces the clip in the timeline. And yeah, we'll get into this later once I actually show you the software. But yeah, just to give you an overview. So now let's get into some editing techniques. So B-roll. B-roll is any footage that is not the main interviews of the video. So any footage like you have here of the health fair floor or of booths. Any footage that is not a person talking is considered B-roll. Anything at all. So in this segment, it's videos of the health fair floor, as I said, and we overlay this on top of interviews to showcase what they're talking about, as well as cover up jump cuts, which we'll get into a little bit later. But when choosing B-roll, try to pick clips that relate to the interviews, and that's one of the most important concepts. And you can't always do it, but when you can, it makes the video much more powerful. And yeah, try to avoid clips that are shaky, avoid clips that are, might have people walking around, have people blocking the camera. So yeah, be mindful of the clips that you choose. But yeah, the basic concept is show, don't tell. Now, music. Music is a very important part of video editing as it enhances the mood and experience of the video. Picking the right track for the type of video you are doing is very important. Another thing that is important is the audio levels. Make sure the levels of the interview video are high enough over the level of the music. That's very important because you want to be able to hear the interview speaker over the music. And depending on the track, you can cut a montage to the beat of the music. And I'll show you a portion of this in the cut that I made. Now, jump cuts. As I was saying before, a jump cut is when there's cuts in between interview footage and kind of looks stuttery, and that's something you really want to avoid in videos like this. Although there are situations where it makes it look good, and I'm going to show you both scenarios in the actual video. So yeah, as I said, there are times when jump cuts are stylistically important, and there are other times where you should cover it with B-roll. Now, the other thing is titles. Titles are a good way to introduce speakers that are in your video. The most common title is the lower third, which you can see here. It has the title and the sample, and you can replace this with any text that you want. You can use the inspector to write the title, as well as change the font size, color, and whatever you want to change to it. And yeah, that's all I had for you in terms of the presentation. Let's move forward with the software. All right, so yeah, let's move forward. So right here is the media page, as you can see. So what the media page is it's where you import all the footage that you need for the presentation. So let me zoom in here and show you that this is where you click for the media, this tab right here at the bottom. So basically what you would do is right click and click import media. Now then you would navigate to the videos that you downloaded and click on one and then hold shift to select all the clips. Now that's very important. That's also in DaVinci Resolve, that you hold shift and that clicks all the clips. So you would open that and then yeah, you would see all the media come in here, and you can kind of scroll through and see that everything is there. So you click here for the list view, and it's going to show you all the clips in a line here. Now, and this is going to be important for some of the things that we have to do. So the first thing we have to do for this footage in particular is to get it on 2 audio channels. So on the upper right corner, there's something called audio. If you click on that, you'll be able to see the meters where you can see the audio levels. But when you click on one of these interviews, you'll see that it's only on one audio channel on the left. So what we do here is you would go through all the ones that are interviews, which are, in my case, the earlier videos. So click here, hold shift, and then click all the videos. And then right click, go to clip attributes. What you do here is you can see the audio is on the left channel. This embedded channel 2, change it to 1. And you'll see here how it has to be is the embedded channel 1 has to be on both left and right channels. Then you click OK. Now you'll see it's on both audio channels. You'll hear it on both sides of your headphones if you have headphones.
Second to none. With expert.
And yeah, that's the most important thing to do in the media page, to make sure your audio is on both channels. And otherwise, you can just get an overview of every other thing. So yeah, for that.
Anjan, is there any default setting that can make the audio available on both channels? Or is it like every time we edit, we have to make it?
It depends on the footage that you bring in. So my case, I recorded on a microphone that only it recorded on one channel. So that's why we have to bring it to 2 channels. But otherwise, then you don't have to. If it's just regular video that you record with your phone or with your camera.
If it's stereo recorded, then it's not a problem.
Yeah, but here specifically, you can see I recorded with a microphone. So that's why you have to do it this way. So yeah, moving forwards. So before I go into the cut page, which is where a lot of the editing is going to be done in this case, I wanted to, actually first I wanted to show you the keyboard shortcuts. So if you, I can't show this on my screen, but if you put your mouse all the way to the top and click DaVinci Resolve, and then go to keyboard customization, you'll see here that you can customize whatever keyboard shortcuts you want. And in the files that you got, you were able to import my keyboard shortcuts. And the way you do that is you go right-click and import preset, and then you would navigate to, here it's Anjan keys. So yeah, you would click that and it would open up as another keyboard setting here. And basically, how I was taught to do this is you want to make sure all the correct keyboard shortcuts are available on your left hand. So, like I said before, the two main keyboard shortcuts that you need are, well, the couple of main ones are mark in, mark out, insert, which is D, overwrite, which is F, and then, yeah, those are the four main ones. And then after that, there's also match frame, which I have at Shift F, match frame to source clip, and I'll show you what that does a little bit later. There's also, I have add transition at Shift C, and yeah, that's another important thing for transitions. Yeah, but other than that, yeah, like I said, your bread and butter is mark in, mark out, insert, overwrite. Like those are the ones you use constantly. And so yeah, that's it for the media page and the keyboard shortcuts. Now I'm actually going to, before I go into the cut page and deconstruct the edit, I'm actually going to show you my completed edit for this health fair video. And it's still kind of in a work in progress, but I would like to show you where that is now. So for that, I need to navigate to my other project. So all right, so here's the video right here, and
Sairam, we're so fortunate to be here at the North Bergen Library with several community resources partnering with us to hold the health fair. The primary contributors for the health fair are from our Swami's organization, Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. We have several doctors here, cardiologists, internists, family medicine, neurologists. We have vision testing, we're giving away classes, we're doing EKG on site, we have introduction to Tai Chi, yoga, name it. And I'm immensely grateful to SSSIO for giving me this opportunity to have the health fair at the library.
North Bergen Public Library under Cy Rao does marvelous things for our community. This is one of them, a health fair that is second to none, with experts in all different fields, checking people, helping people, even giving away free eyeglasses. So I want to thank Cy for doing this and for running this and for her involvement in our community, because it's a great help and a service to us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Anthony Vanieri from the Township of North Bergen, and on behalf of everybody, we'd like to thank all the volunteers, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the cardiologists that were here to donate the time to come here for this important event that benefits the Township of residents of North Bergen and abroad. You come here, you get checked out, EKGs, you get blood tests, you get blood pressure, you can get a flu shot. It's a magnificent thing that the township does. And the recreation department are letting use the building, and the library department. I want to thank everybody. Mayor Sacco administration is phenomenal. And I want to thank everybody for coming today, and let's stay healthy.
Hi, my name is Preston. I'm from Gift Fitness, and I'm here to talk about how amazing an affair like this is, a public health event where the public have access to information and to professionals and to services. It's a beautiful thing to watch a community come together and show what's possible.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Molly Duran from Hackensack Meridian Palisades Medical Center, here with the medical camp and North Bergen Public Library. So our part is community outreach. What we do for everyone is blood pressures, cholesterol, and glucose, all free services. If anybody wants to get them done, they're more than welcome to come. And this is a great resource to be here with everyone else, just being part of the community and having resources for them.
We're very happy to be here today as we provide the location, the recreation center, for this health fair with this organization. It's always wonderful to have this. A lot of people are getting a lot of help over here. They're finding out about their health. I just did an EKG and I'm normal. I seem to be normal, so it's great. It's great to have everybody here, and thank you for being here.
We have here our young budding doctors who came from different nationalities. They are here. I will ask them to speak, each one of them, where they are from and what they're here for.
Hello, my name is Iman Zahid. I'm from Pakistan. I graduated in 2022.
Hello, I'm Ishani. I'm from Mumbai, India. I'm here today to help out and volunteer wherever help is needed. I'm Dilek from Turkey. So I'm here to be a doctor in the US, and that's a great opportunity for us to be volunteering here.
I'm Dr. Tanvi Nijjar. So I'm here for more exposure and to learn more about the system.
I interacted with a lot of new people, learned a new culture, learned new things over here.
I'm very happy to be here today, volunteer and help around, and also meet a lot of new people and explore different opportunities. I'm really grateful for this wonderful event taking place. Thank you so much. Sairam.
Hello, I'm Pratik Raj Regmi. I'm from Nepal, graduated in year 2022. And it's a quite good experience to be here in this volunteering camp, and Dr. Hinchel guided a lot for us, and it was a great experience. I hope that this continues further more.
So this is the grace and love of Bhagwan, which attracts people from all walks of life. There cannot be a better example than this. So today we never really even planned for this, and the students coming and then their aspiring physicians. We seek Bhagwan's blessings for these young budding doctors who can emulate this model, plus the emulation of service as an aptitude. That facet is being fulfilled here today at this venue.
Thank you very much, libraries and medical camp. My family from Ukraine, we very happy here, and here many doctors help me and my family, my kids. Happy, my wife happy, I'm also happy. Thank you very much.
Sairam Anjan, this is Vijay. Quick question. Would there be option for paid in or paid out, or add any transitions?
Yes. Actually, you can see the transition page right here. You can add a cross dissolve, and yeah, to add a transition, you would go here to your effects page. And then on the left, you can see video transitions. And then the most common one is the cross dissolve. So you would click here and drag it to the clip. And then, yeah,
I will ask them
you'll see that there was a dissolve right there. And you can actually add a keyboard shortcut to add a dissolve automatically. And that's something that I have. I have it as Shift-C. So that, see, it added 3 dissolves automatically.
So if they are speaking in another language or anything, so how can we add that caption there?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I'm not sure if DaVinci Resolve has a captioning feature, but the basic way would be to go here and navigate to the one, yeah, right here, subtitle. So you would drag this to the clip, and then you would go to the inspector, which is right here. And then click inspector. And then once you click here, you can write the subtitle. And yeah, whatever the guy is saying, you would have to write it. And if you pay for the pro version, I believe there is an auto transcription feature, which would make this much easier. But in the free version, you have to do it manually. So yeah, that's how you would do that. And I'll go over how to make like these fusion titles, but it would be the same way. You click the template in the effects here, go to titles, and yeah, you would go to where that is, and drag it over, and you would edit in the edit here. So yeah, that's how you add the titles.
Sairam and Saroja. Uh, I've worked with DaVinci before. I've seen multiple timelines, the on the left, right, and multiple timelines, multiple spaces to add texts or text also. So I was a little confused to see all those.
I'm sorry, what are you referring to? The multiple timelines?
Yeah, here you see video 4, video 1,
Yeah.
video. All those are different timelines, right? I mean,
Oh, they're different tracks, not different timelines.
yeah, sorry, tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's something I can go over. But so what the tracks do is it allows you to place video um, on top of other video, basically. And that's a very important thing to add B-roll or cover up cuts. And yeah, that's something I will go into. But yeah, thank you for the question.
I can understand having one on top, like to add something, but
Yeah.
why do we have multiple?
Just to make it easier on the timeline, really. You don't have to. Some people don't. I like to use as much space as possible just to make it more visually appearing. See, I have all the titles here on one line. I have all the B-roll on one line. It's just a visual thing for me to make it make it easier to see. But yeah, you definitely don't have to. Other questions I can go through how I got to this phase, if that's okay. Or let me go through how I got to this phase and different editing techniques. So let me go to the cut phase. Now, the cut page is something I'm sure many of you probably are not familiar with, but it's something that it's a very useful tool to make what are called string outs. So what string outs are it's different like sequences where you can put all the footage together and basically organize footage into different places. So you go to this thing called the source tape. Now this is, it looks like a film strip here, but it's called source tape. And what that does is it puts all of the footage that you have in one line. So you can pull through every single piece of clip that you have in the project. It's very, very useful. And so what I like to do is I would create string outs first of all the footage that we have, just to get an idea of. So if you see here, I have a B-roll string out, an interview string out, and I have the rough cut. So if I click on the interview string out here, you will see it's all the interviews in a line. And how I did that was I would go to the source tape, and I would go and select all the interviews that are there. See this family. I would mark in and mark out. And I would place it on the timeline like this. You can either place it on top or you can place it in between. And the great part is, you can see here, it's in between these two clips. And the great part is, whatever you do on the cut page, it translates to the edit page. So you can see here, once you click on edit, that clip is already there. It's at the exact place where we put it. And as you can see, I already had it there, but if you click Command Z, it goes away, which Command Z is what you use to delete your previous action. But so yeah, that's honestly the main benefit of the cut page. And you create these string outs, the interview string out, and then let me go to the B-roll string out. And what the B-roll string out does is go through and have all the B-roll in a line, which is all the other footage that is not the interview. I've got it all in one line. And I would do that by doing the same thing, going to the source tape, marking an in and out whenever I see something that's not interview, and I would drag it in between. And then that will come in the B-roll string out. And it would also show up when you go to the edit page. So yeah, that's the initial way that I organize footage. Does anyone have any questions about that? Now that we're on the edit page, let me just move forward here. So you have source and the timeline on the screen. So basically what you would do here is, let me toggle my screen. So if you can see here, I have the interview and the B-roll string out right here. Those are the string outs that we made in the cut page. So now to begin editing with them, you would go here, drag it to the source window, and now you can see here, you have all the clips that you selected already. So you don't need to go through all the clips again. You don't need to click on each clip to find something that you want, because you've already done that. You've looked through all the footage and you've selected the portions that you want already. So you would mark in with a Q, mark W, with mark out with a W, and then in the actual timeline, you would click F to overwrite. And if you see what that did there, it added that B-roll clip above the interview. So if you go through this interview, it comes on top. Does anyone have any questions on how I did that?
What do you mean it comes on top? What does on top mean?
On top means, so let me play this for you. So if I click F, it puts the clip on top, and so what it means is, so since I'm playing this video.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Molly Duran from Hackensack Meridian Palisades Medical Center, here with the medical camp and North Bergen Public Library. So our part is community outreach. What we do for everyone is blood pressures, cholesterol, and glucose, all free services. If anybody wants to...
So if you can see here, the clip that I just placed, it's over her interview, basically. You can see the clip while you hear her interview audio, and that's what on top means. That's what I mean by that. Does that make sense?
B-roll thing.
Yes.
So, Ram, do you have to select the track before? Otherwise, it could go down to the first track.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you have to click. You have to select the track that you want the clip to be on, and you do that here, right here. V1 or V2, essentially, and that will go. It will go onto that track. What happens when you click on a track? That clip, you can see here, it's going to show. It's showing you in red which track that it's going to paste on. So I have it selected in V4, right? So if I click F again, it's going to go to V4. So yeah, that's a very good point. The track you select is very important because that's where the clip is going to go.
What does it mean to have separate tracks? It's not like stereo or surround sound.
Oh no, these are video tracks, not audio tracks.
Oh, but do they run at the same time, or they
run at the same time, yes. So a track is essentially where you place different video on top of each other. So you can see here the video 2 and video 1 are different tracks, and you can see that this clip is on top of this clip. So these two clips are stacked, so that yeah. So this clip comes before. See, what tracks means is whatever the topmost track is, that's what's going to play first. So let's say if you can see right here, video 2 and video 1. So whatever is on the like the topmost track, that's what's going to play first. So this is why you're seeing this clip on video 2, and then when you go to video 1, it plays what's on video 1 essentially. So yeah, and you're right, you don't need the tracks, but when you're trying to you could put everything on one track if you want to edit that way, but if you want to overlay video on top of interview audio, then you need to use the tracks essentially, because it'll also cover up what's cut underneath. And as you can see here, this is another important point. B-roll is essential for cutting, for how do I phrase this? It's essential for covering up cuts in audio. So let me give you an example here. So this clip was cut in. But if you can see here on video 1, there's a cut here. So if I turn off this clip, this track. I believe there's a way to turn it off. Yeah, disable video track right here. It turns off the track. So when you turn off the track, you see what's on video one. And as you can see here, there was a cut here.
Professionals and to services.
It's very slight in this set, but
Professionals and to services.
let me show you in a different
Test
video track. Here's more. So if you see here on the
yoga,
video one,
name it, and
you can see there was a difference in the video, basically. Like the video went back and
yoga,
that's the
name
cut
it,
that you want to
and
cover
I mean
because it shows that the edit was made. But if you turn on the video too,
yoga,
you'll
name
see
it,
that
and
the
I'm
B-roll
immensely
covers
grateful
that cut,
to.
so you don't see it. And that's a very important editing technique to cut over essentially a jump cut is what it's called. Does that make sense? How I explained that?
Yeah, so the top on your visuals display at the bottom, that line, the top line is always going to show the video, but the audio can be another track.
Yeah, the audio is right here in A1, A2, A3. So yeah, the audios are on different tracks, the video is on different tracks.
So even if you shoot the video with an audio track, it's going to show up separately on this time.
It's going to show up separately, yes.
Pritesh, just to add to that, Anjan, having multiple tracks for video also helps with doing a picture-in-picture, split screens. If you want to have both the videos being played at the same time, and also our logo overlay. In fact, audio and video, they work together actually in that they're all being presented at the same time. When you have a video track 2 being played, actually underneath video track 1 is being played. It's just not visible. So if you resize the video on video track 2, you will see the underneath track playing. And this works the same way with audio too. All the tracks output at the same time.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, if you make this one smaller, you'll be able to see. Let me see if I can do that for you.
So Anjan, this is Ganesh. I don't know whether you can hear.
Yes, I can hear you.
If you have multiple video tracks, how does that affect the export? When you export it, does it affect the overall size of the file? Typically, what I do is
that doesn't make any difference.
What I need. Like if I need to strip down, okay.
No, that doesn't make any difference. No, it has nothing to do with the size of the file.
And how do you sync up, Sairam? How do you sync up the audio and the video in terms of there shouldn't be any lag? Otherwise, the lip syncing, how does it happen so that it all comes correctly?
All right, so that depends on how you recorded the video. So here I did the syncing separately only because syncing an audio in Resolve is kind of tricky. We can discuss that offline. I just did it in Premiere, but I think usually for projects like this, you won't have to sync audio. Usually, you'll get the video with the audio included, and yeah. But yeah, there is a way to sync audio. But yeah, we can discuss offline on that. Yeah. But otherwise, you'll see the audio and the video here together.
Sairam, Anjan, can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a question. When you wanted to edit and combine 2 videos, I got it. You're doing great. You're explaining really nicely. But what if I wanted to add a video and a photograph in the middle somewhere, and then a video? So combinations.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the same process. So as you see here, I have a photo right here. So for photos, I wouldn't really use the source tape just because it doesn't make any difference. And then if you click on that, it'll show in the source monitor. And let me go to where the source monitor is. And yeah, you'll be able to see the clip right here. Mark in, mark out, and place it on top, essentially. Or no, not even place it on top. You would mark out in and then overwrite. Yeah, essentially, that's what I did. So you can see here, it went on top here, because it's on the second track. But yeah, it would be the same process.
Got it. Thanks.
Hi, Ron. Anjan, one question for video clips that have audio, will the program automatically, or do you have to select where that audio will go on where the track will go on the
Yeah.
audio section?
So yeah, the program will automatically put it on audio 1, but you can change it to whichever track you want by just dragging it like this, yeah. But yeah, the program will automatically put it on audio 1. But yeah, you can change that if you want. But usually, I like to keep the camera audio on audio 1, the music on audio 2, and yeah, anything else below that. If no one has any further questions, I wanted to go over some editing techniques that I referenced in my presentation. So one thing is show, don't tell, like the B-roll thing that I mentioned, which we kind of went over just now. But you can see here, Sister mentions about Tai Chi, and I put a clip on Tai Chi over that. And that's the whole concept of show, don't tell. It's the concept of showing what the interviewee is talking about. So let me play the clip again.
Doing EKG on site, we have introduction to Tai Chi, yoga, name it. And I'm immensely grateful to SSSIO.
So if you can see here, as she said Tai Chi, I played that clip right there to give viewers a visual of what she is talking about. And yeah, that's a very common technique that's used. Like I said, it also covered up the cut that we made. So we don't see that an edit was made in the video 1. And so yeah, does anyone have any questions about that specifically?
This the Tai Chi video that you pulled, you made sure the audio is not pulled also, right? How did you do that?
Yeah, that's a very important point. So if you see here, there's no audio track selected. So if I had the audio selected as well, it turns in red. So if I had the audio selected, here's what would happen. When I click F, the audio would be pasted underneath too, and that's not what we want. So do Command Z to underneath, deselect the audio, and now when you click F, just that goes on top, which is what we want. So yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If there's no other questions, I wanted to go to something else, which is making titles. So you see here, I have a title for every clip. And that's a very important thing that's done on almost all of these videos. So let me show you here how I did that. So if you see on the bottom right corner here, you can pick any type of title you want. There's left lower third, middle lower third, right lower third, background reveal lower third. I think the one that I picked is, yeah, this is the one that I picked. Simple box, 2 lines, lower third. Does everyone see that? Let me try zooming in.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Simple box, 2 lines, lower third. So what you would do is, you would drag that to your timeline. And now let me go to the other screen. Once you drag that to your timeline, you will see sample name and sample title come up. And the way you do this is you go to the place called the inspector. Let me zoom in for you. So right here is a place called the inspector, and that's where you make all your edits of the title. And then you have to actually click on the clip, the title that was added, and you can add whatever you want. I think her name was Molly Duran. So Molly Duran. Hackensack Meridian. And that's the second line is over here. You scroll down, change that to Hackensack Meridian. And as you can see here, I kind of made it smaller because I thought it was a little bit too big. So to do that, you would go to the settings, and then you would change the zoom, and then kind of position it to where you want. To do that, you go to position and move it around. So yeah, that's kind of what I did to make that title. And then another important thing is the fade in, fade out. So if you see these sliders here, you can make the fade in, fade out like that. So that fades it in and fades it out. So that's very important. So yeah, that's the basics of making titles. Does anyone have any questions about how I did that? So basically, to export your video, you would go to deliver, and then you can see here there's many different options. For you guys, I think honestly, if you scroll and click YouTube 1080p, that's sufficient for 90% of what you want to do. You would go add to render queue, and then you can see on the right here, there's different jobs. So you would just click render, and then it would render that video to the location that you want. You can click the location here, go to browse, and you can pick wherever you want to share it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Can we be able to compress the video?
Yeah. So there are many different compression options here. H.264 is probably the most common one, but let me go to the regular H.264. So if you go to advanced settings.
One thing I can suggest here is, Anjan, if you're looking for a small file size to share with somebody to get their sign off, you can reduce this to 720p. Even
Yeah,
if
that's a good point.
enough,
Yeah.
even if that's not enough, if you go down to quality, like two steps below, restrict to, where you see the bit
Yeah,
rate.
that's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can change
Go ahead.
the bit rate here. Yeah, and that's going to reduce the file size to whatever you want. Yeah.
So for testing, just I use this somewhere between 2 and 3,000 kilobits per second, just for testing. If I need to share it with somebody, it gives me
Yeah.
a pretty small file size.
And you can make it even small enough to upload to WhatsApp if you want, right? And I also wanted to let you guys know, if anyone wants to work with this footage and create their own cut, you're more than welcome to it, and I can help you move that forward and help you with any edits that you want to do. So, and I can review cuts with you. So, please feel free to reach out for any help that you need. Yeah, I'll be available. So, yeah.
A few things before we end this call. I just wanted to again say thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Anjan, for this wonderful workshop. It was well thought out and very detailed. So thank you to you as well. If you guys wanted to take up Anjan on his offer to review your videos that you make of the clips and the assets that were shared during this workshop, the links are available in the email, and if you didn't get it, I will send out one more email detailing all the links. And you can upload those files to info/media-submit. That's sssio.info/media-submit. And that will be all. I'll just close with Om and Three Shantis. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti